sincere gratitude to the hosts of this forum, the government of Kazakhstan, for the excellent organizational arrangements and interesting agenda, as well as the traditional hospitality that we are all been enjoying from the first minutes of our stay in this beautiful country. During the years, Astana Economic Forum has proved to be a very important event for discussing the issues of global significance. And it is my honor to participate in this panel today and share Georgia's modest experience in the development of tourism sector with the distinguished audience of government and business leaders and distinguished participants of the panel. Tourism, one of the world's largest industries, contributing trillions of dollars annually to the global economy, creating jobs and wealth, generating exports, boosting taxes and stimulating capital investment, as it was mentioned by the chairman, is in the list of the fastest growing sectors of Georgia. As it was mentioned, and as we all know, nearly 260 million jobs worldwide are supported by tourism, either directly in the industry or in the related sectors. And these jobs are vital not only for the livelihoods of those employees, but also for their families and the wider communities in those destinations. Today, there are very few people who have neither contributed to the growth of tourism through their own spending nor felt the effects of other expenditure. It was mentioned, according to the statistics of UNWTO, 1 billion international tourists are expected to travel this year. That means that 1/7 of the world population who have crossed international borders is tourists in a single year. So Georgia has had on average 30% annual growth rate of the number of visitors since 2009. Last year, Georgia hosted around 3 million foreign visitors, representing around 40% growth, and income from international tourism amounted to around USD 725 million, representing 57% growth. This year, we expect substantial increase in these figures, with international visitors numbers exceeding 3.5 million. These figures are the result of the reforms and public-private projects initiated by the government of Georgia during the last years. The strategy of Georgia was the creation of a private investment enabling environment in the country by maximum deregulation of the business environment, rehabilitation of transport and tourism general infrastructure, and offering incentives to the private sector to make for them attractive to follow the developments in this area. And I was very happy to hear the experience of Malaysia in doing the same, providing the liberal environment and providing the incentives for the development of the sector. One of the most striking transformations in Georgia has taken place in the legislative system. Together with the liberalization of the business environment, the government of Georgia has implemented all the necessary measures to improve visa and foreign visitor processing. We have no visa policy with around 87 countries. Among them are citizens of the United States, Canada, the European Union member states, and travelers from most other countries are issued visas on arrival on the border. The government of Georgia is also considering the possibility of further relaxation of visa procedures for citizens of certain countries who hold visas issued by third countries like UK, US, and others. If we look at the statistics of arrivals from the above-mentioned countries in 2006, when Georgia established unilaterally visa-free regime with the EU, the number of travelers grew by 55%. This same pattern was observed with other countries, with a growth rate ranging from 30% to as high as 182%. For the period of 2006-2011, the cumulative growth of international travel amounted to 270%. To stimulate private capital inflow into the hotel development sector, we have enacted law on free tourism zones, where the investors are exempted from income and property taxes for 15 years. So like the example of Malaysia. But together with it, we are giving land for free to the investors, and it is free provided in ownership. mentioned already, and what is the role of the government? It is the investments, heavy investments in the development of the general physical infrastructure, rehabilitating roads and railroads, constructing new airports, developing new tourist destinations, and etc. As a result, the country has attracted several high-end brand hotel chains, which are expanding increasingly to major cities and new tourist destinations of Georgia. But we are looking for the hotel chains of 2 to 3 stars to come to Georgia to have the possibility to provide budget hotels with the budget hotels our tourists. We realize that improvement of service quality in the country is vital, and we are working intensively to resolve all the present issues. Intensive trainings for employees of hotels and restaurants are currently being conducted and will continue to be delivered throughout Georgia. Among our priorities are also sustaining the growth of domestic tourism, product diversification, targeting new markets, development of sustainable tourism. So in a period of economic recession, placing particular emphasis on domestic tourism can be particularly lucrative. It is a well-known fact that domestic tourism generates around 10 times more arrivals than international tourism. Furthermore, around 70% of tourist direct global GDP contribution is generated by domestic travelers, a clear majority over the 30% share made by foreign visitors. Worldwide domestic spending reached around 2.6 thousand billion in 2011, with foreign trips generating 1.160 billion. Product diversification is also very important for us. We have focused on creating various niche tourist offerings such as wine tourism, caving, adventure tourism, ethnographic tourism, ecotourism. It's to name but a few. We've developed new resorts and also given a new lease of life to existing destinations through a large-scale reconstruction. I would like to also point out the significance of MICE tourism and business travel as a driver of economic growth. It is proven that business travel improves global corporate productivity, yielding return on investment of 10 to 1. In other words, 1 unit of new business travel spending produces incremental industry sales of 10 units. We are targeting new markets. Today, around 50% of visitors of Georgia come from the neighboring countries, but we think that Georgia has potential to attract tourists from other countries as well, and therefore we are spending money on the development of new markets. It also goes without saying that observing the demands of existing markets and catering to their needs is absolutely vital for maintaining the high performance of the destinations. Last but not least is the issue of sustainability. We are promoting green and ecotourism in Georgia, which is attractive for tourists at the same time being beneficial for the future generations. We believe that the cooperation of government and industry to harness tourist economic benefits while ensuring the sustainability of ecosystems and communities which they support are of paramount significance. These were some of the main issues that I believe are important to stay resilient in the world of numerous external and internal challenges. So I will be short and finish with that, and I would like to thank you for your attention.
Well, thank you very much. It was very interesting. Unfortunately, we're running behind the schedule, and let me just suggest that we have 20 minutes instead of 30 minutes coffee break, and we will come back exactly at 5 o'clock, and we will continue our session. I would like to thank all of you. It was really great. It was very interesting. And for those of you who have questions to our speakers, they will be available during the coffee break. I hope they will stay here. So thank you very much. We'll have break for 20 minutes.